This Dragon Ball Super review is sponsored by Crunchyroll, and just a quick reminder for you guys, you can still get 30 free days of Crunchyroll Premium at crunchyroll.com/geekdom. Premium accounts get not only hundreds of hours of anime, but you also get it in pristine 1080p high definition, and you can stream it to any device plus no ads. So you definitely want to sign up and take advantage of this deal. Crunchyroll.com/geekdom. Check it out. So I really do hope that each and every one of you had a really happy New Year. And if you have any crazy New Year stories that you want to share, go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know anything crazy that might have happened or anything funny that might have happened to you on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. I love reading that kind of stuff. But I know the one thing you did not do on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve is watch Dragon Ball Super because it was off the air. But guess what? Unless you're watching old episodes. But guess what? Dragon Ball Super is back now with episode 73. This video will be my review of episode 73. Gohan getting the spotlight. Once again, episode is entitled Gohan no Sainan, Gureto Saiyaman Masaka no Egaika, which translates to Gohan's Disaster, Great Saiyaman's Unbelievable Movie Adaptation. And real quick, before I go any further, I just want to real quick give you guys a programming note. I will be watching the Dragon Ball Super English dub later this evening, and I will have my thoughts on it on this channel within the next few hours. Either tonight or tomorrow, you will get my thoughts on episode 1 of the Super English dub, which is going to be starting on Toonami tonight. So you will get that on the channel, as well as my episode 74 preview. That's coming up in the next 24 hours. But for now, let's talk about Dragon Ball Super episode 73, a Gohan-centric episode, but I am wondering if Gohan fans are going to really be happy with this or not. Let me know in the comments if you are a Gohan fan what you thought about this episode. Also, this episode premiered a brand new closing theme for Dragon Ball Super, which the song is amazing, but the animation, guys, during the credit roll, they had these manga panels going up, but they weren't like legitimate comic panels. They were like panels for just the Super stuff with like Frieza and Hit and Beerus and Champa. Beautiful. I cannot wait to watch it tonight on Crunchyroll in high definition because that ending looked beautiful. But let's go back to the beginning of the episode. So the episode starts out in space with Jaco eating these dope looking noodles with the Galactic King on this like moon asteroid thing, which appears to be like an in-space ramen noodle faux shop or something like that in the middle of nowhere. And Jaco tells the Galactic King about the criminal Watagash. If you've been keeping up with the spoilers of Dragon Ball Super, you kind of know where we're going with this. If not, now you know. And he's a criminal. And Watagash, Jaco does not want Watagash to escape. And he won't escape, so of course he escapes. And Watagash is basically like a white squid-looking thing who can possess people. There's a lot of GT vibes going on in this episode, and I mean a lot. We're going to get to it as we go through. So then we have this scene at Gohan's house where Videl is watching Saiyaman on television fighting her father, Mr. Satan. And they're promoting a movie, and Gohan has this look on his face where his jaw just drops. That was so freaking awesome. The movie's being called Great Saiyaman vs. Mr. Satan, which sounds like they're making fun of like Batman v Superman. But you got to remember, Japan is known for having tons of movies with the verses in the title, like Godzilla versus a bunch of people, or some of the Super Sentai, the Power Rangers in Japan, have like the verses in the middle of their names when they have their combo movies. So this is nothing new for Japan. So they find out that Barry Karn is going to be in the movie playing Mr. Great Saiyaman, and Mr. Satan is going to be playing himself in the film. And we have a shot of Barry Karn like being approached by fans for autographs. He's pretty much like a big celebrity. Now, those of you who might be wondering who Barry Karn is, this is the guy who is a very well-known movie star who Majin Buu, if you remember, go back to Dragon Ball Z episode 247 when Fat Buu was in the city and he looked at that magazine and he molded his face to look like a celebrity. That was Barry Karn, and he's the guy picked to play Great Saiyaman. Very arrogant and egotistical character. There's a scene in the episode where Gohan, shows up on set with Videl and Pan. And actually, it's interesting because Gohan wishes that Goku was there to see the movie, and they show Goku on King Kai's planet, on Kaio's planet, for like a second, and that's the only Goku we got in this episode. Like, there's virtually no Goku in this episode, no Vegeta. It's just Gohan and Jocko and Satan. It's like their own little mini saga or mini arc, 2 episodes. So again, back to the scene, was a really funny exchange between Barry Karn and Videl where Satan was going to tell Barry that Gohan is Saiyaman, but for some reason Gohan can lose his job. Now again, I go back to what I said before. I don't understand how why Videl is worried about Gohan losing his job if they have so much freaking money. I mean, Mr. Satan's family is exceedingly wealthy. There's no reason for her to worry about that. We don't even know what Gohan's actual job is, right? Like, what does he actually do? You know what I mean? I don't know. I have no idea, but whatever. Let's go with it. So Barry Karn hits on Videl, and I'm just thinking, well, why would she want to go with the phony Saiyaman when she's got the real thing at home? So we go to the movie set, and Gohan, of course, wants to be the stunt double. They have this big tank there, and the stunt double reminds me of that one scene in Spaceballs when they capture all the good guys, and I love that scene. You capture their stunt doubles. Like, that was, I don't know if y'all seen Spaceballs. If not, definitely watch that movie. But Barry Karn is so cocky, bro. Like, okay, this guy's so unlikable. So he's talking shit to Mr. Satan, the hero of the world. He wants to endanger his stunt double by taking away the wires. And Gohan's like, no, let me be the stunt double. So he gets the Saiyaman costume and he wants to do it. And Barry accuses him of doing it to impress women. But the dude's married and his wife is right there, Barry. Like, are you a dumbass? Like, his wife is right there. But Gohan wants to do it to impress one girl, and that's, of course, his daughter, Pan, which I thought was cute. They have this really cool scene where they shoot it. Like, they shoot the scene, like, for the movie, for the Saiyaman movie. This tank lunges at Gohan. Gohan, of course, hops over it and saves the guy inside of it. Does the Saiyaman pose. They go to commercial. We come back. Barry complains that Saiyaman's pose is different from the one that he came up with. It's just ridiculous at this point. Gohan, of course, keeps working as a stunt double, even though he doesn't really want to anymore. But Videl insists that she should. So we then go to this other scene. This is all like okay stuff, but I'll be honest, it's not the funniest slice of life. Like, this episode, I'll get to my thoughts at the end of the review, but it's okay. It's not really as funny as I was hoping it would be, but it's not horrible. It's just kind of like, eh. Like, I could totally see you skipping this episode. Like, if you're out there and you don't want to watch this episode and next week's episode, I mean, we haven't gotten to next week yet, but I don't blame you because not really much happens as far as, like, story progression or character progression in this episode. We then go to pretty cool Easter egg here. So Cop Krillin's in the streets dealing with these two criminals. And it's these two guys. One's like a giant Robo-Nappa and the other one's like a smaller guy with a beanie. These guys were in the Dragon Ball manga but did not make it to the anime. Gohan as Gray Saiyaman dealt with them in the manga, but they were not in the anime. Very interesting Easter egg here. They're pulling from the manga, not the anime. Saiyaman has this awesome scene where he breaks through the wall because he sees what's going on and knocks Krillin on his ass. Really funny. The thugs actually remember him. So there's people out there who always say, like, Super is canon to Kai or canon to the anime. No. Like I've said a million times, there is no real canon in Dragon Ball. There's just not. And I'm going to do a video covering it in the next few weeks so I can explain to everybody what the deal is with the canon. There's no canon. It's just a goofy show. Don't overthink it. So we then cut to Jocko, who's chasing Wadagashi. Wadagashi comes to Earth, the little squid guy, possesses the crook, powers him up. He's got red eyes, and he fights Gohan. So it's like his eyes turn red. He fights Gohan, so the guy can fight. And it's such a freaking GT. Like, this is such a ripoff of GT. Of course, it's Toei, but it's the same thing Baby did. Like, he'll possess you and your eyes turn red. Like, they didn't even try to make it unique, which I'm all right with it. It's just, I guess, a tribute to GT. I mean, who really knows? But Gohan beats him. He wants to fire a Kamehameha, but I'm like, wait a minute. Is Gohan going to kill this fucking guy? I mean, he's not going to survive a Kamehameha from Gohan. But it's just, again, like a red eyes and a creature that can take over people. It's just very, very Baby from GT. So then we have this scene where the news reporters think that the Saiyaman bank robbery, heist thing where he stopped the bank robbery from happening was all just a publicity stunt for the movie. and that Barry Karn was responsible, but of course we all know it was Gohan. I don't know if that's going to really go anywhere in this story. We'll find out. But Gohan then goes back to the set, and they have this really weird scene at the end of the episode, or close to the end, where he's getting hit on by this brunette TV star, and she wants to rehearse her lines with Gohan. Nothing good can come of this for a married man, all right? So we're actually seeing a little bit of this love triangle storyline, and I saw some people predicting this. I don't remember where, if it was in my prediction video or if it was in on somewhere on social media, but somebody predicted that Gohan and this girl and Videl would have like a weird love triangle. Well, you're a great prognosticator because it looks like they might be going there. They might be. We'll find out next week. She overheard Bulma say that Gohan is the real Great Saiyaman, so the cat's out of the bag for her. Then they have this scene of her on Saiyaman's back flying in the sky. And I'm like, oh shit, what are you thinking? Like, that's extremely romantic, Gohan. You don't want to do that with a woman who's not your wife, dude. So what happens is, who else is flying in the same area? Jocko, the Galactic Patrolman, who arrives on Earth, another superhero, of course, just like Saiyaman, who poses, and he aims his gun at Saiyaman, and he fires it, and that is the cliffhanger. So next week, Watagash apparently possesses Barry Karn, and Saiyaman and Jocko have to stop him. I'll do my prediction, like I said, in the next 24 hours for that episode. But this episode of Dragon Ball Super, honestly, was not my favorite. It was okay, but it was just not very interesting to me. The idea behind this could have been really, really funny if they had, I feel like they would have incorporated more of like Saiyaman not knowing his own strength or Gohan being a bad actor. But he's a stunt double, so it's just, I don't think they really captured the comedy that they could have with this episode. But next week's episode will have more action, so at least we'll get that. Plus, Jocko's in this episode, and again, we didn't see a lot of comedy from him, and I was hoping for more comedy. Because if we're going to do Slice of Life as we prepare to go into the Universal Survival arc next month, I want some comedy, I want some fun times. This episode, not really one of my favorites. It wasn't bad. It was not a bad episode. Some people on the internet think that you have to love or hate something. This is just kind of like average, like below average. Like I'll probably only watch this episode again like 2 or 3 times in my life. It was just, we'll see how tomorrow's episode, or not tomorrow, next week's episode pans out. But as of right now, this is just, it's all right. It's out of 5 stars, I'll give it like a 2.5 out of 5. It wasn't that great, but it wasn't horrible either. Anyways, those are my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super episode 73. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget, Crunchyroll. Support Dragon Ball Super on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll.com/geekdom. If you don't support Crunchyroll and Dragon Ball Super legally, Toei is not going to make more Super. We want to make sure that we get more Dragon Ball, more games, more movies. So you need to not pirate this thing and go to Crunchyroll. It's free to watch on Crunchyroll, but also you get 30 free days of premium, which means 1080p no ads. Crunchyroll.com/geekdom. Take advantage of it now. Thank you so very much for watching my review, and I'll talk to you guys down the road.